Is the prophet wrong? Are we going to have riots? Hold on. Are we going to have riots in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and London if I was to paint a picture of a bomb on his head? There is only one prophet, and there is only one God, and his prophet is Al Gore?
Well, you know, Alex, okay. Well, yeah, as always, your kind of oratory is stunning, and it's something that I find kind of quite amazing about you. But I can't answer any of that
come
stuff.
on.
And one of the reasons why I can't answer any of that stuff is because, frankly, Alex, I've been so busy with these other projects that I'm working on. I haven't really looked into the whole global warming denial movement, and I just don't feel in any way equipped to talk about it.
The denial movement. Okay, you brought up 9/11 truth. What's your problem with that?
I was just when you were saying all of that stuff, a little thought popped into my head, and I've always wanted to know your response to this, actually, so I'll ask you. It's that built into the 9/11 truth belief is that, you know, the media, the mainstream media, people like me, just, you know, wouldn't be interested. You know, we just don't want to reveal the truth of the matter because we're all sort of part of the, you know, part of the conspiracy. And I think if there was any evidence, if there was any clue that 9/11 was an inside job, every single journalist in the world would just be jumping on that story. They'd be dying to. Yeah, I'm absolutely certain of that, because it would be the world's greatest story, you know?
Okay, but so you're asking me a question?
Yeah, I'm asking the question that, you know, it's impossible to rationally believe that every journalist in the world who would have any kind of...
Okay, that's a false statement. That's a false statement. The establishment selects and promotes journalists in the controlled left and controlled right paradigm that already fit into the worldview and buy in to the official story and believe there's never anything behind curtains. Okay?
But if... Yeah, but any
hold on. There have been a lot of reporters that have gone public. They've been ridiculed or fired. Underwriting Laboratories, Kevin Ryan got fired, one of their chief engineers. There are policemen on tape saying, get back, they're going to bring down 7. The BBC reported Building 7 had fallen before it fell. Then they lied and said they didn't say it. Then they said, oh, it was an accident. Then they admitted Reuters had given them that. Just like the news media printed that Lee Harvey Oswald had been captured before his name was even out in Dallas. They got the names wrong because of time zones in Asia. That's confirmed. When you look at NORAD standing down, when you look at the hijackers trained at U.S. military bases, it actually was in AP, Reuters, the San Jose Mercury News that the head colonel over the head base said, look, I trained hijackers at my base. I don't know what happened, but these guys were working for the U.S. government. Okay? So I know a passport came out of one of the buildings unscathed and was found by the FBI in those hundreds of thousands of tons of wreckage. I mean, come on, John. Come on, John. I mean, Gulf of Tonkin was staged. It's not a conspiracy theory. Operation Northwoods is declassified where the government planned 9/11 style attacks, Bubba. All I'm saying is, look, 6 of the 10 commissioners have said the entire thing was a fraud and a cover-up. Why isn't that in the news more, John? Granted, it's been in the Washington Post, but nothing ever happens.
Well, I sort of wish I hadn't brought up 9/11 again, because we've been, you know, the likes of me and the likes of you have been through this stuff a zillion times over the years. But I still don't think you answered my original question, which is that, you know, I work within a world of the mainstream media, especially on the left, and I know that journalists on the left and journalists on the right would win a Pulitzer the size of a building if they could somehow provide evidence.
Take Monbiot. Take that Monbiot guy at The Guardian, one of your colleagues. He writes articles a year ago saying, I'm a kook, there's no world government. And then he publishes and signs a letter from 200 top journalists calling for a one world government. I mean, they're intellectually bankrupt, John. I mean, you can't have it both ways. World government's good. World government doesn't exist. I'm not saying you're doing that. I mean, you'll at least admit they're saying it. But if you were a good little globalist, you'd come on here and say, no, Alex doesn't exist, and then write a book about how great world government is.
Well, as I said earlier in the interview, my view about world government is that I think it was this kind of, you know, what they considered to be a kind of idealistic vision in the early 50s that sort of, you know, history shows has turned sour because what nobody expected was that CEOs would behave in a psychopathic and selfish and irrational way.
Never that. Hey, listen, in the time we got left, JonRonson.com, and I'm going to try to twist your arm for 5 more minutes after this break, just the whole hour, because this is too great having you on. I want you to be able to ask me some questions, too. But did you get to meet George Clooney or Ewan McGregor or any of these great actors?
Yeah, I did. I went onto the set and watched them film it for a few days in Puerto Rico, and then I went around the various premieres, in Venice and Canada and London and Toronto, and so I spent some time with them.
Pretty nice guys, I hear.
They all were.
Now, do they think it's ridiculous, or do any of them buy into this stuff?
Well, I think the only 2 people I know who were like in the kind of core of the movie who did believe in the paranormal stuff was Jeff Bridges. I mean, he's certainly a believer. And he got on very well with Jim Channon, who's the real guy who he plays in the movie. And Grant Heslov, the director, he says even though he has never seen any paranormal stuff happening, he wants to believe that it can. And actually, I think a lot of the people who like the movie like it because it's got a sort of warm heart to it and it's got a humanity to it, whereas my book is a bit more sort of cynical.
All right, shifting gears quickly in case you can't, because I know you got family, hold over another 5 to finish up. Tell me about them.
My son's right here with me. Oh, them? You mean about the movie?
Yes.
Yeah, well, it got optioned, back in about 5 years ago, same time as the Minister at Goats got optioned. And, as you know, nothing's really happened since. And you know that Jack Black was attached to be in it. But, God knows, Edgar, who's supposed to be directing us, is directing another movie at the moment. And I just hope that, when he finishes his other movie, he turns his attention to the wonderful, project that is them. But, I can't force him as much as I'd like to.
Well, I think the fact that one of your books has already been made into a major movie and doing quite well at the box office, I would hope that would, because even though it's going to be a huge hit piece, I would like to know what they're writing. I mean, if my character is going to be in there, and what great evil type of person I'm going to be in the movie Them, if that does happen.
Well, I think if it does happen, and if there is a character in there that's kind of inspired by you, you will love it. I think it'll be a completely lovely portrayal. Because, movies, especially these kinds of movies, they don't want to sort of just attack people, I think you'd be delighted by your portrayal if there is.
Tell you what, John, stay there. I want to come back and talk about what you're doing in the future, then we'll let you go and get back to your family.